students, a very warm welcome to all of you. Today in the Navigator series, we are here to discuss how to make effective notes for the UPSC preparation. I think this is one of the most common questions that is asked time and across. However, the answer to it is very complex because I believe note making is a very personalized exercise. It differs from individual to individual. So I believe there is no single answer to it, but yes, we can help you by giving you some recommendations in order to ease the process for you. So basically, the heading here is how to make effective revision note making techniques for the UPSC aspirants. Firstly, you need to understand why we need to make the notes at the first place. The whole purpose of making notes is to ease the revision. You know you have to remember so many things. So in order to recall the things in the actual examination, you have to revise every subject multiple times. So the only way to revise maximum time in minimum time period is to make proper, effective, concise and rational notes. The second is to consolidate everything at a single place. You know, for each and every subject, we have to refer to multiple books out there. Along with that, we also have to refer to monthly current affairs magazine and also newspaper. So the whole purpose of note making is to bring everything on a single plate, to consolidate everything at a single place so that you can revise everything multiple times. The third purpose is to cater to the needs of the UPSC examination. As you all would know that there are so many books that are not actually aligned with the demands of the examination, right? So the whole purpose is to read those books and to extract the material as per the need and the demand of the examination. Then how would we understand that what is the actual demand of the examination? The source for the same is previous year questions and the syllabus. Whenever you are reading anything out there, always keep the syllabus and the previous year question of that particular topic with you in order to understand that what actually needs to be studied, right? And it is only by referring to the syllabus and PYQ that you learn the art of what needs to be ignored and what needs to be remembered. So it is the whole process of note making that is very important and just not the notes, because in the process of note making you understand that what is relevant for the examination, what is the need of the examination, and what you need to specifically segregate for prelims and for mains. And the third is to improve the answer writing skills. So what happens, whatever you think gets reflected in your notes, and your notes are reflected into your ultimate answer writing. And your marks depends upon your answer writing. So in order to develop the right thinking for this examination, in order to understand what is the demand of the examination, you need to make those notes, and those notes have to cater to ultimately answer writing. And it is the effective answer writing that helps you to score decent marks in order to find your name in the ultimate list. Now there's a general advice. Either you can make digitized notes or you can prefer A4 size blank sheets. However, I do recommend digital notes given the fact that you have to update your notes time and again. There are so many dynamic portions in the syllabus. For example, agriculture, for example, internal security. So when you have to update time and again, it becomes very cumbersome to do the same when you are doing it in, I will say, handwritten notes. So it becomes very, very handy and easy to update your notes in digital mode. You are able to easily copy paste the things, you are able to add the diagrams, you are able to add relevant links time and again, right? The second is your notes have to be absolutely rough. Please don't focus over the grammar, handwriting, long lines. No, that is not what is notes for. Notes have to be very crisp. They have to be very concise. Try to use as much as keywords as possible in order to concise your notes further. Add flow charts, add tables, add diagrams. So the whole purpose of note making is to ease everything out, to remember everything. And how would you remember everything? When you will try to concise everything. Be very precise in your notes, right? And also use as many as short forms as possible. For example, you can simply use MI for minimum, MA for maximum, arrows for increase and decrease, a simple C for constitution. That is how you would be able to reduce your time for making notes. Then always keep syllabus and PYQ as a reference without a doubt. And you have to make integrated notes for both prelims and mains. Please don't segregate your notes for prelims and mains, otherwise it would be a very long process. You would be knowing that the syllabus overlaps, right? For both pre and mains, the syllabus is a lot more integrated. So your notes have to be such that they are able to meet the demand of both the prelims as well as mains examination and ultimately the personality test also. So if you're making notes for any singular topic, try to make it in a single sheet. Don't diversify the sources. Try to bring everything on a single plate. It is only when you will try to bring everything on a single plate that you would be able to revise them multiple times. And revision is the key for this examination. Also for current affairs and the dynamic topics, please just go for digitized notes. Otherwise, it would be very, very difficult on a later date. So specifically for the topics where you know there would be articles in the newspaper, you know there would be articles in the monthly magazines, and you know there would be some progress in the topics, always prefer digitized notes for the same. And where you can make your digitized notes, you can make on OneNote, you can make on Evernote, or any other website that you think is more suitable for you. Now, I have taken reference of some topper notes in order to show how the toppers develop their art of note making, how they are able to concise everything in a single page. And if they are able to do it, you too can do it. So for example, this is a reference of a topper note, and here he or she has reduced all the soil types that we find in India in a single page. So you can see the various types of soil, for example, alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterite soil, arid soil, forest soil. And he or she has covered required features, the regions and the crops along with a diagram in a single page. So it becomes very handy to revise it time and again. Because there's a diagram, because there's a pictographic image here, right? So he or she would be able to recall it better in the ultimate examination. And he or she would also be able to regenerate the same in the mains examination. And diagrams hold a lot of relevance, especially in papers such as geography, in papers such as agriculture, right? Disaster management. So for example, if you see, here's a mention of the black soil. Clearly, it is shown it is found in the region of Maharashtra, Malwa, MP, Chhattisgarh. And see, the same has been labeled in this picture also, right? And it is more suitable for what is known as cotton. What are the features? It's a finely clayey material, rich in soil nutrients. At the same time, it is poor in phosphorus. So all the relevant facts have been covered in a single box. Similarly, alluvial soil that is found in the North Plains, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Mahanadi, right? The crops that are suitable, paddy, wheat, sugarcane. You would be knowing that a lot of sugarcane is grown in UP belt, right? So you would be able to link the same. The same has been shown in the diagram, alluvial, and you could see the whole of the alluvial belt here. And then the features of the same has been covered. So when you make your notes in tabular format, you're able to concise everything in a single page. And the whole purpose of notes is to reduce whatever you read in your book. For example, you read in a book a particular topic and the coverage of the same is 10 to 12 pages. So the whole idea of note making is to reduce it to a single page in your ultimate notes, right? Similarly, here's a reference of the crop types, the season, the soils, the climate, the regions and others. So all the relevant features of the various crops that are found in India have been covered in the single page. Now you would be able to answer all the prelims questions through it. At the same time, you would be able to regenerate the same points in the mains examination. That if a particular question has been asked on millets, right, you would be able to tell that what is the season, what is the soil type, in which climate is millets grown, what are the regions. Now I have taken another example from the field of science and technology from another topper, and you can see here the topic is about the blockchain. Now here the very first statement of the notes is about the definition of the blockchain, and then you can see how this technology works. So he has also provided the working of the blockchain through a diagram. So it would be very easier to recall. Then what are some of the side facts of the blockchain technology, right? That it's a distributed ledger technology. He or she has mentioned about the same. Now what are the advantages? What are the concerns? What are the applications and the initiatives that have been taken by the government or any other institution? So from a single page, if any question is asked from the field of blockchain technology, it would be so easier for you to answer the same because everything has been covered in a single page. The challenges, the advantages, the concerns, the initiatives, the diagram, the definition, right? Similarly, another reference of additive technology has been in news time and again. So it is better to make the notes of the same because it can be asked. Now the very basics. Then the statistics. You can also add the required statistics of everything in your notes because then it would be very easier to add data in your answers. The data can be used either in the introduction, the data can be used in order to substantiate your points, it can also be used in examples, and it is this data that helps you to score that one extra mark in every question out there. So your whole purpose of the note making should be, whenever you are writing your answers, in every answer you should just try to get that one extra mark, because then in the entire paper you would be able to get additional 20 marks altogether. The advantages, the challenges, the initiatives, and you could see that the statements that he or she has added in her notes are very, very concise. There are no long statements, and also they have used different colors. What is the purpose of using different colors? That it would be easier to recall because of the image memory. Very, very concise statement. See, again, whenever you are making your notes, specifically for geography or specifically for the portion of even ethics, you can always add diagrams and flowcharts, and it is only by including those diagrams and flowchart in your actual notes, you would be able to regenerate the same in the ultimate examination. For example, if the question is over rare earth minerals, you can simply draw such a diagram. If the question is about ocean resources, isn't this a very beautiful way of representation? If the question is on coal, time and again a question is asked on the coal. So knowing the distribution of the coal, the export and the import belts, and having the diagram of the same is a very good practice, because you are able to reproduce the same in the mains examination. And see, if you are not going to do this hard work, some other candidate out there is going to do the same and is going to fetch those extra marks. So always try to include such diagrams in your answer. See, such form of presentation. The lithium belt. It's a very, very fine, good, rational way of presentation. And if you revise them again and again, the diagrams, they're very easy to reproduce. You don't have to draw very neat diagrams, very beautiful diagrams. You just need to draw a diagram in order to give your point out there, to explicitly lay down your point. Now, for example, whenever you are making notes for history, you can always add a timeline in your notes. So this timeline can be used to frame a very decent introduction as well as a conclusion in the ultimate mains question. And it is through the timeline that the revision process becomes a lot easier. You are able to recall the points. For example, if the question is about the extremist leader, you would be knowing that there were moderate leaders before them, then the extremist phase was followed by what is known as revolutionary phase, or then after it we had Gandhian phase. So if you have a timeline for it, it would be very, very easy to recall and reproduce. Right? And also, my personal recommendation is, whenever you are making notes out of a book, please don't try to create a book out of a book. You are going to waste a lot of time otherwise. So if there's a book and you know if you'll make notes of it, you are going to write 70% of the book, then don't make notes of the same. You don't need to make notes of books such as Spectrum or per se Lakshmikant, because they're already in the format of notes. So be very, very wise with your time. If you are investing time on note making, be very rational. Always sit with the PYQ. See what kinds of questions are asked from a particular topic. For example, if there is a topic called urbanization in the GS1 paper, be aware that in the last 10 to 15 years, what kind of questions has been asked from that particular topic. And then you need to prepare your notes in that particular format. Otherwise, you will write everything in your notes. And that is not even required in this examination. So if you're investing so much time in note making, be very effective. Be to the point. Be crisp. Add as many flowcharts as possible, because then it becomes very easy to revise. Right? So as I've told you, add such tabular tables, add such diagrams, flowcharts in the paper. Don't try to make notes of the things that are already in the note format, and never create a book out of the book. So if you're reading 400 words in a single day, and you have to make the notes of the same, so your notes have to be of only 40 words. Just whatever you read, your notes of that particular thing have to be only 10% of the words. Right? So be very clear with your approach, the strategy, and it is only through this note making that you can ease the process out there. You would be knowing that in ultimate mains examination, you have to write 2 papers in a single day. So if you don't have those crisp, concise notes, those organic notes, You won't be able to revise for the paper, right? And then what's the point of investing a complete year when you're not able to reproduce it in the examination? So give direction to your hard work, and the direction should be such that leads to success. So that is it for today. Thank you so much.